Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Positive EV. I believe this is episode 5 of the podcast. Today, with me, I am joined by Stino
Hello.
and also Sneppen.
No,
So, Sneppen is a gentleman who is chief of staff amongst the people here at the server. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing very good. The last couple of days have been really hot here, and today is much better, so I'm doing really good.
Nice. What about you, Stino? How are you today?
Yeah, can't complain. Bucks won last night, and they're on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. I don't follow that sport at all, but
That's all right. It
I'm
was
a
a big
little.
deal for Milwaukee. It was a
I,
big deal.
I'm a little upside down on the whole topic. So, um, so Sneppen, tell us you got promoted to chief of staff a little while ago. How's that role been for you?
I mean, it hasn't really been any different than a normal staff role. I'm not really
Oh,
doing anything more,
there's not
but
not
yeah,
too much
it's
bickering amongst staff members that you have to sort out.
not nothing.
Oh, good.
Best boss I'll ever have.
Oh, that's right. He's your boss. Nobody's my boss but me, except maybe Mrs. Fracas. But
Yeah, there you
hey, Hostile, how you doing, man? He popped up on stage for a minute. That's all right. Now, EV. So Murdoch's asked the question. So just a reminder for everyone: if you want to ask us questions in the chat, just post questions in the podcast chat at myself or Stino, and we'll see if we can get to them in amongst our conversations. So, Sneppen, aside from being staff, what do you do for investing wise? How did you get into CS?
I started playing the game, yeah, quite a long time ago, actually. And in the start, I always found the skins pretty meaningless because I didn't really care about cosmetics. Um, and I only started to care once I realized I could make money from it. So I actually played the game for quite a while without even engaging in the skin scene or the investing scene at all.
Yeah.
So in a way, I got pretty familiar with the game before I even started with the item part of it.
Oh, nice. Oh, so that was pretty much your entrance into CS was gaming itself, and then moving along into investing when you sort of went, oh hey, I can make money out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice. So running this Discord with Hostile and the other staff members must be but must have its challenges. For you guys both, what do you guys find it to be the hardest things to deal with aside from Meester posting ridiculous pictures?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, the hardest part, actually quite a difficult question, but the hardest part is, I would say, is dealing with new people, not because they are problematic in any way, but just when there's a lot of new people, there will be a lot of messages. It's very hard to catch up, and you will have to do a lot more than you usually do.
Yeah, I find when I'm in the server, if I go into investing or general, it's always the same questions over and over again. I have $5. How do I invest? How do I buy a knife? Something similar.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the hard part is not having an active chat. That comes pretty naturally, but having a high quality chat is a lot more difficult than. Um, and we want to have a chat where people actually learn something from reading it, and that can be quite difficult,
Definitely, and
especially yeah.
I guess that's where the pro investing tab sort of comes in. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
And that's one of the solutions to have a more quality-focused chat room, and that is quite helpful. I think a lot of people enjoy reading the pro investing channel.
would you explain what pro investing is, just for those of us that aren't aware?
Yeah, sure. So the pro investing channel is basically a channel where everyone can read it, but only a few selected people have the ability to write in it. And this comes as some kind of privilege, you can say. So the people that have the permission to write in it also usually put some more thought into what they decide to write in there. And so that results usually in longer messages and higher quality messages.
Okay, yeah, I've noticed that in the chat as well. You typically get big walls of text of really, really high quality information.
Yeah, exactly.
think-
And that's what we want, really.
I think one of the more difficult parts, at least for me, and it's weird because, I'm a teacher, and patience should be something that comes naturally. It's taught me that patience is difficult no matter what, like kids or people on the server or whatever. It's really important and imperative to the job to keep a cool head and not lose it on some person who continually will say, something like clutch case is a great investment, or, stuff like that. That same cycle of, same thing, different day,
Totally different
kind of
to
thing.
totally different to the person saying invest in CS20.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Yes.
By the way, I do still think it's a decent investment. It's going to be a while for any more growth, but but it's still going to go up eventually. Oh goodness. Yeah, it's not going to get to $1 for years boosted. It's going to take a couple years, I think, before it hits $1. Oh, baited. Sorry, just watching the chat scroll by, and someone was spamming and just got muted. Thank you for sorting that out, mods.
So, Sneppen, you're big into trade ups.
Yeah,
Tell us
I
about
am.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people do these gambling-like trade-ups where they go to the market, buy the cheapest skins as fast as possible, rush into the game, and do the trade-up. And I've never really been interested in this part of the trade-up game. The way I usually do these trade-ups is I find a trade-up where it's reasonably easy to get the skins you need, and the volume of the skins are quite high. And then I place a buy order for 500 of the skins or something like that. And I have made sure to, one, check that I can resell the skins without any large loss. And I've also made sure that quite a high percentage of the skins I will get is high enough quality to be used for the trade-up. So in that way, you can maybe place an order for 500 skins of 4 different types, throw away 300 of each, and then trade up the rest of them. So in that way, you get more consistent trade-up results, I would say, and it's actually a lot easier because you just have to place the orders, wait a few weeks, and then the skins just come rolling in.
I think actually you were the one who taught me that method of trade ups, and that's fascinating. Like it's a really really clever way to use the market and trade up in the system for your advantage, and it's really impressive seeing that.
So yeah, the hardest part is actually finding the skins where people usually sell a lot of them, and most of the skins I buy is below buy order price. And very often, especially for some types of skins, people would tend to sell tens of them below buy order price every single day. So it's just about snagging all those skins up, trading them up, and yeah, making extra money by trading them up
Yeah,
Right.
while already buying them extremely cheap.
something we've used before has been like the trade up ninja from Schmatco. there's something that I think you explained before about the difficulty rating and how likely you are to get a skin from the buy order. How does that work? I think it was
Yes,
you.
so the way it works on the site is just it takes there are so many different floats within each range, so you can get good minimum wear, you can get a bad minimum wear skin, and the way the trade-off ninja sites works is that it's kind of just splits it in half and assumes the probability is the same across the entire range. But in fact, for some skins, you can get and find skins where the probability of getting a good float minimum wear skin, for example, is a lot higher than getting a bad float minimum wear skin. So for some skins, you will have a very nice probability of getting what you want. So in that way, the difficult, yeah, exactly what the Jensen just posted. There's some graphs of probability, but in that way you can skew these odds to work in your favor and to make the trade-offs even better for yourself. So really, the difficulty in the trade-off ninja site is more like how long do I want to spend snapping? How many of the skins I buy do I want to throw away again? And then you can use some of these principles, and I think I posted on Reddit about it as well, to make your own advantage even larger.
Nice. So there's a whole lot of maths that goes into this.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you do the maths, it can make you money.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I tried writing a little script that could do the math all for you, so the people that didn't know the math could do it themselves. But sadly, I'm not that good at programming, so I ended up dropping the project. So yeah.
Gonna need to get some help from. I'm sure one of the other members of the Discord is very good at programming. If you ever want to pick up that project again, there'd be plenty of people that would help.
Yeah.
So, Steno, have you been keeping an eye on the sticker capsules?
I have. So right now, one segment that I introduced was the old capsule EV guide, estimated value for every time you unbox.
Estimated value? Excuse me?
Expected value.
There we go.
Expected value. There you go. Expected value of the capsules when you open them, and so the best ones usually are not positive EV, but today we have the DreamHack Cluj-Napoca 2015 Legends foil. It's about an 88% return on investment.
Whoa, that's not terrible. Considering sticker capsules, that's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad. But if you look at what's inside the capsule, it makes sense. So on Steam, it is at $17.10 US. The most expensive sticker in the capsule is the DreamHack foil, which kind of shocked me.
The DreamHack
it's just
foil?
the one that says, yeah, DreamHack Open Cluj-Napoca 2015.
Really? Wow.
It's $27.90 USD. So you're getting about $10 from opening that. Next one is Navi foil at $17.77 USD.
Yeah.
Luminosity's at $16.48, and everything below that is below the price of the capsule.
There's also not many options in the capsule, is there?
No. There's
9 items?
10
items.
9. You're right. 9.
9 items.
Yeah. So
okay.
it's I mean, that one sticker literally is the reason why the capsule is so much.
So, if anyone at home wants to track what's the expected value of some capsules, see if it happens to become positive, or if they know what a good price is to buy capsules at. I've posted a command for to have a look at outsourced capsule EV guide. So there's also a CSGO case EV guide where you can have a look and find the best the best cases to open, the best capsules to open. Note, most of them are negative. So don't recommend just don't recommend opening them in general. As far as worst EV goes, RMR Legends is the worst EV. I think it's one of the worst EVs. Oh
No, there's
there's a few
Austin
more. 2018.
Austin 2018 minor challengers is at 5.3% return on investment.
Oh goodness, 5.3 and 5.25%. Oh, that's pretty rough. Krakau's still really low, but at 30-odd%. It's not often that we see such a low EV on this show. As the lowest
nuts.
possible. It's insane.
Still those old capsules where the 100 Thieves and Tyloof stickers were removed, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The other wasn't. Yeah, okay. That explains it.
Yeah. Yep, that definitely explains it. Removing the stickers just tanks the value. Any MIB saying any capsule with Envious has the best EV. Yes, the old positive EV emote for chat. There we go.
Oh, gosh.
We're gonna have to change that emote to something better, something that suits us.
Yeah,
more.
it's funny though because Cologne 2016 is up there as well. I think they're at 84% return on investment. So there you go. Get the envious positive EV sticker. Probably not going to make your money back, but
no. Atlanta's still sitting around 83% EV. Wow, that's nice. Well, while we're here talking about cases and capsules and stuff, I might actually do our little case opening. So, Sneppen, you've selected the case for today's single case opening.
Yeah, and I selected the Snakebite case. And
What
not
led-
only is it the newest, most interesting case, I would say, but it is actually also the case with the highest percentage EV.
Nice. So, unfortunately, we don't have video for the podcast chat. So, if you want to see what I'm opening, you'll have to check it out on YouTube. Timestamp will be at around 18 minutes. So, let me... there we go. And CS. Just opening it up now. There we go. So, this will be in the recording. My one Snakebite case to show you all that this is negative EV for opening a case. This is close. It'd be nice to open the trader. Let's see how we go. It's going to be a blue, 100%. But, oh, the slate went by. Oh, it's the Nova Windblown in Minimal Wet. Alrighty, there we go. That was our case for the week. Snakebite case. Also positive.
Evan, have you opened? Have you done any slate trade ups?
No, not for this one actually. I did one on release, and I tried to get a double zero float slate, and I failed miserably.
What'd you get?
I haven't tried since then. Some random breakout collection skin, I think. So.
Right.
No. Oh, poor breakout case. All the skins in it are just... I think that's one of the most negative EV cases to open. That it's just hunting for butterfly knives. Yeah, I'll open a case every week until we get knife or gloves. See how we go. How many years is it going to be before we open one?
330 weeks or whatever, 326 or something like
so
that.
like
No,
6
256?
years.
I don't know.
6 years. Mate,
It'll be a minute.
yeah, it's gonna be a minute before I open anything good on the podcast. But that's okay. It's to show you all that this is bad for money, bad gambling.
Sneppen, what are your thoughts on the new case?
I don't really know, to be honest. A lot of people hated it right when it was released.
Me.
I don't really think that's warranted. It's okay. And I really think that everything something new is released, everyone hates it, and then they grow to love it later. And yeah, the same thing happened recently with the Deagle Print stream. The same thing happened with Prisma 2 case, and
Did
etc.
people hate the Deagle Print stream? I thought everyone was really happy with it.
A lot of people disliked it right in the start, but they quickly grew to like it.
Yeah, to begin with, people were not too fond of it.
Ah, you can see
But
I
then-
don't know my history. Oh.
Yeah, I actually believe they dropped all the way down to $500 on the Steam market, and then they sold for $1,000 on buff shortly after. So the demand really spiked after a week, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see that it shows that in the Steam market too, actually. But
Oh yeah, Men in Black brings up an interesting point. How Butterfly Knife was not liked by people, and then after a few pros used them, boom, the price graph on Butterfly has gone feral. If you bought a bunch of Butterfly Knives, I think I remember chatting to people about the breakout case, and they said it used to be an item that you would just delete. You wouldn't actually even try and sell it. There were just so many of them, people would just delete them. That was an interesting time in CS. There were no storage units. You couldn't do much, and the
sold
cases
for 3 cents.
Yeah, you couldn't even sell them for 3 cents back then. Like, you used to be able to get like what was it, like 100 cases for like 50 cents or something on third party. You used to get really good rates for cases, which is not happening anymore, considering all the updates.
So, one thing that I saw in the chat, MIB mentioned this. We should discuss summer sale and impact on market.
Yes, very, very big topic that's going to be coming up soon with CS investing. People are going to ask all the questions about the summer sale.
How do you view that, Sneppen?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to predict actually. And a lot of people compares it to last year, where they says, oh, nothing happened. But last year actually, and most people didn't even notice, but a lot happened, because all the skins that no one really wants, and those are usually also all the trade-up filler skins, they dropped 25% in value or something like that. So something happens, but it's just hard to predict where it happens. And if everyone is thinking that red lines will tank in price, they won't tank in price, because everyone will be buying them up. So you really have to look some odd places if you want to secure a good deal. And the most of the stuff you can secure a good deal on looks really, really bad. So I don't think you will see significantly cheaper case prices, and especially not for cases that people will like to buy. A fracture case maybe could drop in price, but you won't be interested in buying that anyways. So you really have to look out for the good items to buy, and it is probably not the items you want to invest in. But
Yeah.
some items will most definitely drop in price, I would say.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't like to think about or talk about. When they're investing, they're like, oh, I'm going to pick up a red line in the sale when the price drops. All right, cool. So are you and another 100,000 people. The price isn't actually going to drop that much if you're all trying to buy red lines really cheap. Like, the demand just explodes when the supply explodes, and the price doesn't really budge that much. You got to really look at things that things that just aren't looked at. It goes for a lot of investments. If everyone's doing one thing and investing in one thing, it tends to not do as well as something that people don't necessarily look at. For example, glove cases. People invested in glove cases, sold them all at they were about $2 Australian. Sold them all, and then they doubled in price again because everyone had sold them and opened them. More examples of
I
cases going
think
forward.
another thing too is that I think the prices are already kind of going. I mean, they're going down a little bit. Like, not I'm not saying like massive amounts or anything, but I think the market already corrected itself after that big hype
Oh, definitely
that we
has.
saw because of the movement of cases and whatever else to rare pooled. Like the thing I've been looking at a lot is Broken Fang collection skins. Like they shot up quite a bit. I think
Yeah.
a lot of mil specs got around $20 from Havoc and Ancient. But they've since, cooled off a little bit. They're back down to like $18, $19 a piece.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not a huge amount of, loss, but I think the prices are already, kind of just sticking sticking even, just not moving up, not moving down too much. I mean, Spectrum case is kind of getting a little more stagnant right now, trending downward a little bit, but not because, people don't want it. It's probably because people are either thinking about the sale ahead or could be hype. I don't know, but it's interesting, seeing that how the difference between the summer sale a couple of years ago compared to now.
Yeah, CS has changed a lot in the last couple of years in terms of investing. I have noticed that alongside yourself that everything has sort of stagnated a bit, and that's not a bad thing. It is most definitely not a bad thing to have have a lot of products trend sideways. It means that the market's still there. The market's holding its prices. Everyone's that's taken profits has done so. It's just very healthy for the market in general to have those slow trends.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
I think recently we have been seeing quite a lot of fear of missing out as well, and it
Well,
really isn't. I wouldn't say it's that healthy that that many items perform this well, and a lot of investors come in here with unrealistic expectations and do these all-in kind of plays where they bet all on one case or one type of item, and usually it doesn't really pan out that well. But if enough people do this, someone will eventually come in here and say, "I spent all my money buying CS20 cases or whatever, and they five doubled in price. In price, just do as I do." And this, yes, survivorship bias, I would call it, really comes to impact the decisions of quite a lot of people, I would say.
yeah, I think that's actually a good just investing principle in general, where people think that they've made that they go, oh, I've made money doing this. I must be like a god. I can predict the future of what's going to go up, and follow me. When that is not the case at all. You can just be in the right place at the right time. Doesn't mean that you're you're a great investor. Where the survivorship bias, for those that don't know, is if I lived doing this, if this worked out well for me, then it must work out well for everyone else. That everyone else should have followed me to do this. When it's like, it just can't happen. If you jumped into like Bitcoin at 100K and it's now at what 40,000, you're not currently celebrating your that you've made the long call and that you've
Taking
made
out
all
a
your
second
money.
mortgage.
Yeah. Or if you bought houses, and something that you see a lot online a lot is people buying houses and flipping them, and that makes them money. That is certainly not the case for a lot of people where they spend this money trying to flip a house, and that all of a sudden the costs go up and they just can't make the payments and no one buys the house. they're currently stuck with a $500,000 debt. You got to be really careful. Like, we're a bunch of fools talking on a podcast. Don't ever, ever, ever take what we say as gospel if we say to invest in one particular thing. Because
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it also highlights the importance of diversifying too. You know, you don't just put, you know, say you have $2,000 and you just put it into one stock. I mean, I guess, you know, some people do that, but
yeah, but
majority
those
of the
people...
time it's you're right. It's never going to really work out for you. It's important to, you know, spread your money around and make sure that you know, if something does happen badly to the market or to a couple items in particular, it covers your losses because you have other items elsewhere doing better or not
Yeah,
as poorly.
yeah. So that's why, like, I think we'd all recommend is the diversity. Like, we all definitely recommend that. Investing, if there's the one person that's investing $2,000 into one item, typically they're also putting $2,000 into other items.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just buying, for example, Operation Skins, or just buying CS20 cases, or just buying Danger Zone cases, don't. It's gonna end poorly for you in general. Like, there is going to be the odd person that strikes it rich. Like, the people that bought, they put $1,000 into Dogecoin when it was like half a cent or 0.1 of a cent, and it rose to nearly $1. Like, it's a blue moon. It's like a once in a blue moon event.
Yeah,
Diversity.
exactly.
Diversity
Yeah.
definitely doesn't mean all in RMR, but oh.
And the people that bought all 3 different capsules haven't diversified. That's quite important to point out as well.
Yeah, they've just invested in like one thing. Diversity. So there's an interesting point that Slice has brought up, saying diluted profit. People come in looking for profit, and that's all they care about. They only care about their profit. Where a more seasoned investor will tend to look at risk first. They say, what can I lose? So, like, in CS, any money that I've ever put into CS, I go, I would be okay losing all of it. It would be upsetting, but it's not going to kill me. This money is play money and fun money. This isn't my main investment portfolio. This is just a small section of it. Mitigating your risk is a large part of investing. So for anyone anyone that's involved with investing and is learning how to invest, once you stop looking at how much money can I make and start looking at how much money could I lose, it makes you a better investor in general, because you look at ways of mitigating your risk and making sure you don't lose as much money than you gain.
So, Sneppen, you're in Denmark.
Yeah, I am.
Are you a big Australis fan or Heroic?
I usually just cheer for whatever team has Danes on it.
Okay.
And that could be Astralis, Heroic, Complexity recently as well. And when some of these teams play against each other, I just really want the best team to win, usually. Because there are lots of good Danish teams, and I think it's hard to pick only one.
Do you have a favorite Danish CS:GO player or CS player, you know, 1.6 or Source?
No, not really, actually. I wouldn't say so, but recently I've been pretty impressed with Blame F from Complexity.
Sure.
Nice.
But I haven't really been following the competitive scene that much recently, so I'm a bit
Sure.
out of the loop.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of difficult to keep up with it when there's no LAN tournaments. I miss those a lot. I can't wait for those to come back in October and November.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about going to the major in Stockholm, but then you go to Google Maps and you see that Stockholm is actually, even though it's neighbor country and so on, it's actually quite far away. So I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm hoping someday they have one in Chicago, so I can go to that. 'Cause that probably would be like the largest city close to me that I could go to. I would love to see a LAN tournament. Have you ever been to one before?
Yeah, I went to Blast Pro in Copenhagen
Wow.
Cries
some
in
years ago,
Australian.
and it was great. Yeah, so I think all the Danes they lost badly, and Navi won, I believe, but that doesn't really matter. It was a great experience, anyways. So yeah,
Yeah,
can recommend.
that's cool. That's awesome.
Definitely cries in sad from Australia. I haven't had any opportunity to go to anywhere fancy. No IRL tournaments for me. But, and I think we've only got really one decent team with decent Australian players, and that'd be Renegades. So I guess I'm forced into being a Renegades fan.
And ACS,
NACS is dead.
up and coming. Up and coming, baby.
Australia CS, we're the underdogs. We'll take it eventually. Oh goodness. So Sneppen, yeah, Hostile's asking when are you going to become server owner? How long until you stab Hostile in the back and just take over?
To be honest, I have no plans doing that. Hostile spends a lot of time doing work I'm not really that interested in getting. Just some stuff like collecting ban lists from a dozen different places, etc., etc., and lots of the shit work exactly. That I would love to not have. So not anytime soon, I think.
So does anyone else have any other questions for us? So I still have Extremum. Thanks, MIB. So other questions that I've seen. Has anyone seen any questions in the chat that? Oh, actually, JSH makes a really good point that I'd like to discuss with you guys. Sell when you're happy with profit. People think everything's going to the moon and they hold until they die. It's okay to sell stuff. It's okay to sell when you've made money. The downside eventually can catch up with you of an item going out of favor and going to zero. What do you guys think on taking profits? Do you guys typically have like multiplier targets with CS?
Yeah.
Lately it's been hard. It's been hard lately with that because the way the market has been is not anything like it used to be. So, I mean, for like, I'm coming back onto Broken Fang, Operation, collection skins. Like I feel like they're still strong investments, but I bought them, $10 a piece for a bunch of mil specs and dirt cheap for all the consumers and industrials. But like, you know, if I believe in it and I think it's gonna go up, I'm not just gonna sell off profit. I think another example for me is Spectrum. I bought thousands of those things for a couple cents, like anywhere between 5 and 11 cents for them, and they've since gone up to 77 cents right now. Like I could easily sell with profit, but do I need it right now? Not necessarily. Do I want to put that money elsewhere in another investment? Not really. So therefore, I'm not going to sell it because even though I'm way, way up on it, doesn't mean I need the money.
Yeah, that's a decent point. Bringing up like opportunity. You don't necessarily need the money right now, so may as well keep holding it. The market seems pretty barren for opportunities at the moment in CS. There's not too many opportunities still. There's still some stuff on like Buff where you can get really cheap RMR stickers, but oh goodness, sorry, house is shaking from the storm. It's a bit woolly out down here at the moment.
I think another thing too is with investing and when you should sell and profit and whatever. Like the thing about the Spectrum cases is I already sold off the amount of money that I invested into it. So anything additional is profit.
Yeah,
And yes, there might be risk, but I don't see a lot of risk in the Spectrum case going back down all the way to, 5 or 11 cents. That's not going to happen anytime soon.
no,
Um, if it were other items, say I think an RMR capsule, for example, they were 25 cents on the market, pretty cheap, pretty easy to pick up, and now they're anywhere between 40 and 50 cents. Like that one might consider selling it sooner or later. I'm not going to hold on to that forever. But again, sometimes you just need to be patient. You don't need to pull stuff out and move it around really quick because then you have Steam taxes you got to worry about and other taxes with it.
oh man,
Sometimes the pain in the butt of just doing all that, it's kind of negates
taxes.
the yeah, exactly.
Yes, the good old cashing out into taxes from your country. Oh, because they view it as like almost like property tax. Okay, they view it as a capital gains tax, no matter what you do. It's a pain. But again, speak to an accountant. I've mentioned this on previous podcasts. If you're going to deal with taxes, speak to an accountant. That don't listen to us. We are not accountants. Just make sure you do everything properly, because your government will be very unhappy with you if you make lots of money and don't pay tax.
What is
Um,
what is your point of view on that, Sneppen? Like not necessarily the tax thing, but going back to what JSH said.
Yeah, the profit taking part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I actually think the armor capsules is a great example. I of course bought a lot of them at the 20 euro cents the sale price was, and right after the sale they spiked, and I decided to sell off quite a large amount of them for 40% instant profit. And even though they are much more expensive now, I don't regret this at all because I locked in the profit early. Um, and 40% profit in less than 2 months is still a very, very great return. So I'm not that concerned about maximizing every time, because if I can get a return I'm satisfied with, I would take it any time possible. And another great example of that is the breakout case. I bought them last summer at around this time for cheap, and I sold them back in January this year for my target price of around 1 euro cent, which was roughly double of what I bought them for. And now they are no, now they doubled again, but I don't care that much because I got what I aimed for, and I'm satisfied with my return.
Profit is profit.
So, yeah, exactly, it's profit, and you can't really maximize it every time. And if you look at the spike last summer, even if you sold way too early, you still ended up better off selling than holding through it all, and all the prices went down again. And last summer, another I think great example of this is I bought quite a lot of shattered web cases, and I sold them for like 1 euro at 20 cents or something like that. And they then went on to spike and became 3 times as expensive. But the price dropped again, and I got my profit. And when the price dropped, it dropped way below the price it sold for. So you really, when you can get the profit you want and you can lock in the profit, you really should at least consider locking in some of the profits, because you can't know what happens the next day. And yes, Shattered Web case is an extreme example, I would say, by going down this much in price, but it still serves as a great lesson for a great lesson that you need to lock in the profit, and you can't just take the ride all the way to the moon. You should settle some off on the way.
Yeah, Shattered Web case has been a absolutely like black swan event kind of deal. The big ups and downs has been very unique to that case.
This is Shattered Web case. I would say is actually very interesting in a lot of ways. Also, it teaches quite a few lessons. It teaches that you should cash some out, be satisfied with your profit, and it also teaches that cutting your loss isn't always that bad of an idea, because initially it didn't drop this far. It only dropped to around half of what it was just a few days before. So really, if you just sold when the news arrived, you would be much better off than just holding through it all. And sometimes this is the case, but of course I'm not saying you should sell every time your items dip. Of course.
Yeah. I just want to bring up. We're talking about cashing out. Man in Black has asked what the end game and goal is. When do we call it a day and pack it up? Like, do we keep going until it's no longer viable, or do we have targets where we say, all right, we're going to stop with CS investing? What do you guys have an end game plan, or are you just going to keep going until it's not viable anymore?
I think I'm just going to keep going until it's not viable, because it's fun, and a lot of people they have this plan. They want a dream skin, and as I said in the start, I'm not really that interested in skins, so I'm just doing it for the profit. So I'm just going to keep on going, and so you can always cash some out on the way and limit your risk, as we talked about earlier. But I see no need stopping and cashing all out before there are some large signs that the opportunity will stop being there.
Steno, what about yourself? Have you got an end goal, or are you just going to keep going because it's fun?
My end goal is buying a boat. So
Nice.
Until that day, we're still in it.
I mean, there are like $10 dinghies you can buy, right?
No. Gotta get that boat. Not like a crazy boat, just something I can fish in. So
Nice. That's a good little dream. Fishing is great fun.
and it's frustrating though because of the pandemic, boat prices have gone up significantly. So
gotta keep
we'll have
it
to see.
investing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now, for myself, I'm gonna keep going just because it's fun. It's fun to do. I'll keep going until it's no longer viable. Pretty much take profits along the way. So, like, I've taken enough profits now that's covered my initial investment. So that everything I'm playing with is free money. When you see me open cases, that is extra stuff that I'm putting in, but I'm considering that already lost money. That's just money that I'm having fun with. But my goal, if I could get to $10,000 in CS investing, I wouldn't necessarily stop, but that's where I'd probably take like $1,000 out and go, cool. That's it's a nice little chunk of money. I've taken profits. Everything else here can do whatever it likes, and I don't particularly mind. I've already taken my money out. I'll let everything else grow. 10K profit, yeah. 10K profit is the goal. That's just for me. Then I can take 1,000 of it and take it into other investments. I've invest more into Magic the Gathering and more into my ETFs. That's where my main investments are. Outside of CS, Sneppen, do you have other investments that you look at?
Currently, not really anything out of not much actually. I recently I've kept a lot of money in cash. So I probably should spend some time and get back in the game, but I haven't really invested much. And it comes down to still being in studying. So I don't really have that much money to invest in stocks and etc. And so not that much outside. I have some Magic the Gathering, and I piled up. I don't actually know how much I own in Magic the Gathering, but I've just been collecting that for 7 years or something like that. So it probably adds up to quite a lot, but I don't know. I have no idea.
We must have started around the same time. Yeah, I think I started in 2013. So yeah, 8 years. So it's slightly longer than you. Like a year longer. For Magic, that's like no time at all. Magic's been around for longer than I have. I'm 25. So 8 years out of the 25 isn't very much. In all honesty, but the collection's slowly growing, still slowly growing. If anyone invests in Magic the Gathering, don't invest into the new stuff. Just buy old things. Old reserve list stuff is where it's at. Way ahead of most people that are 25. Nah, that's just because I'm double income, no kids for now. So I've actually got a bit of extra income to be able to invest and put towards a future. That's not something that everyone can have, which is unfortunate. But we're doing okay. Yeah, I think so. So everyone, what time are we at now? We're at 52 minutes. Wow. Oh yeah, all of the business money. Nah. In all the stake, no, hostile. Come on. Now, everyone, this has been a wonderful podcast. Thank you so much, Stino and Sneppen, for joining me. Stino, my co-host, as always, and Sneppen, my wonderful special guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for coming through and listening. It's been really great to interact with the chat. Keep your questions for next time. So we've actually got another podcast happening tomorrow in the Discord, but I won't upload the video to YouTube for another week, so I can try and keep a weekly schedule. Thank you for everyone for coming around. I hope you can join us tomorrow with Roadrunner, and I'll be uploading this to YouTube, where you can also watch the little case unboxing. You can see what I have opened. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to end this recording here. Thanks again. Babs just joined. Too late. Good morning to everyone in the US. I'll see you guys live tomorrow at 3 p.m. GMT, where we'll be chatting with Roadrunner, one of the gentlemen who has spent quite a bit of time in this server. Thank you all for coming, and I'll see you next time.
Adios.